Hey Brobots! Today I'm going to show you how I hand painted my Barbatos Lupus Rex Frame. That's right, I did not use an airbrush on this. Hi, I'm Wright and I made this YouTube channel to share with you my experience as a professional modeler in Japan. Thanks for watching and please subscribe. Here are the steps that I'll take you through in this series. Hey guys, today let's paint a Gunpla frame with some base paints and some detail work. Chapter 5, Color Matching and Replacing the Stickers. Here are the foil stickers from my Lupus project. And you can see the gold, it's a beautiful red gold, I would call that. Now sizing this up against all of the paints in my collection that I could possibly use for gold, I came across these two as looking the best. The Retributor armor is a base color on the right, and then the layer of auric armor gold on the other side. Now you can see Retributor armor is just a little bit dark for that, which should work well. We'll put that on as a base paint. And the auric armor should highlight that quite nicely. And then if I need to highlight it further, I could mix some silver in. One more thing, I did think that this one might have been an option. It's Chitang, titanium gold from Tamiya, but I do want to use this one, and a little nod out to Nikki Trogban for putting me onto this color. I am going to use this on a different section, but not these ones. Like most applications, I'm using my wave stirrer, because these paints do settle and I'm not using them super often as well. And I'll put this up on the top here. Generally speaking, I like to either start with white in my top corner or the darkest color. It's one thing to think about while you're setting up is your color palette and how you're going to arrange your colors, whether you're going to do it in an ascending or descending series of colors. With a soft brush dipped in water, get the rest of the paint off there, make it a bit easier to clean, and give it an ever so slight mix. That should be more than plenty. Next I'll put the auric gold next to it. This one had separated quite a bit, so just giving it a proper stir is a really good idea. See how the paint in the lid is actually the transport medium? That's why I knew this required a much better mix. It might actually be the first time I'm using this one in anger, so it maybe has never been mixed before. But now, the actual paint down there is the perfect color. Again, this one has not been mixed for a long time, so it's just transport medium up the top there. So I'll give it a good mix. I'll put this little bit of distance away at the bottom so that I can make a custom mix between the three colors.
You didn't show the paint yet.
Sorry. Thanks, Tomboy. So this one, the highlight for this paint is Runefang Steel, also from Citadel. Let's go with straight Retributor. And we'll carefully paint it onto this middle chest piece. Now, I've already dry brushed this, so it has a bit of a highlight underneath. But that's okay. Now, it's been brought to my attention, apparently I paint acrylics a little bit more wet than other people. I don't know. My strategy for painting acrylics like this is it's the same for everything really. I try to work from the larger surfaces. I block in the larger surfaces, or work from a wet edge. Particularly with acrylics, you'll find that that's necessary. Because they won't remelt and reactivate the wet edge to keep you painting from it. So blocky stuff like this, and say Games Workshop for example, are actually really easy because we just paint the edges. Same again, working across some of the larger sections on the back here. Going to carefully paint in some gold into the recesses. Now I'm going to approach this ever so slightly differently than what most people do, is that they'll paint it perfectly first and then look to rough it up. Keeping the same methodology that I use with all mediums, I'll try to not paint some areas to leave it as apparent damage for the finish, because again I'm going for a very weathered look on this one. I was of two minds. I'm not sure whether the stickers on this one, I'm not sure whether they cover everything, because you know there's some depth to this. It's a recessed piece, so I'm not sure whether we want the edges painted or not. So I'm going to go with width. I'm going to paint them and see what happens. Now, if it doesn't look cool, we can remedy that with a wash afterwards. It can help with making them look a bit better. Okay, I'll do that in the other sections, and then we'll move on to other details. Coming down to a smaller brush, and say adding 50% water to the paint. It gives us a solution like this. It's almost a wash. I'll come in for some subsequent cleanup steps across the first cover, across the first coat, excuse me, very quickly to even up that base. 2 to 3 coats should be fine. And it's nice and fast. These dry almost instantly. Here's one of the cool aspects of the wet palette. I've stopped and had lunch, and you can see that this paint is still perfect. It's like it's just come out of the pot. Very fun and wonderful to use. Now coming in here for the hip joint, come with a small, slightly pointier brush. I need this one to be reasonably accurate. When painting curvatures like this, I align the part so that it follows the natural, the biomechanically efficient angle of my hand, so that I'm not doing this so much with my fingers. I'm more pivoting around my wrist, if that makes sense. It's very hard to get that in camera, but I think you can understand what I mean. So that way, any streaks that I leave in the paintwork, because I've matched up the way my wrist rotates to the part, any marks that I leave in the paint should then match up with the rotation of the part. Gosh, I'm not sure. I should have probably written that out a little bit better to make sense. As I'm painting in the moment, I'm really sorry. Sometimes my explanations, it made sense to me as I moved my hand, but yeah, instead of trying to work against the biomechanical efficient angles, I try to make it work with it. I don't hear many other painters talk about stuff like that. I mean, I guess they probably do it, but I think it's a really important thing. Water flows downhill. There we go. Now there's a couple of little streaks poking through there. I'll make sure we can capture it. You can see there's a couple of little streaks poking through there, and they're about the right sort of angle. A bit of a touch up there needed. Whoop. There we go. Let's mix up our main color by putting some in the middle here, and then some of this one. So it's just slightly darker than the auric gold. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Might need just a drop of water in there. And yes, I'm liking that a lot. Going too heavy with the previous paint step has produced a wonderful dividend. So this Retributor armor, if you put it on ever so slightly too heavy, look at that cool tarnish effect it produces. It's not thick enough that you could paint over that if you needed it to, but let's definitely use that. I did not know this paint made this effect. Now I do. So using our new mix, the Retributor Auric combination, I'm going to paint around the tarnishes, leave them as a really cool effect, and block in. Enhance the color in a couple of key areas, leaving some of the poke through, and turning this into a feature. Gosh, that looks cool already. I like it a lot. I need to thicken up just a couple of spots there. In here, leave a bit of that edge work there. And here against the tarnish. cool. There we go. Working to make the tarnish effect a feature of this upper section of armor. So this is my third layer, and using the 50/50 Retributor Auric Armor mix. And I think my color's spot on to replicate the stickers. It's smoothing up well, just a little bit of detail poking through. Sadly, no tarnish effects. I mean, I painted this section too well, so I didn't get the tarnish effect. But seeing as it's the back of the model, maybe it's better if it doesn't look too damaged. And it's just a nice solid detail. And then we have it, the gold detailing on the left. So that's 4 coats in total. 2 of the Retributor armor, and then 2 more with the Retributor Auric armor mix. And on the right is just with Retributor armor. And that contrasts very nicely against there. I'll do one more detail point up in here tomorrow. On the front too, that's starting to look quite cool and come together. Thanks for making it through with me, guys. Please make sure you are subscribed and have liked the video. Second, please leave me a comment explaining how this video helped you. And third, please head on over to my Patreon website for the exclusive bonus content on Rex's golden claws and painting the pistons as a focal point. We are the biggest fans of Support Local. Doing so empowers Hobbyco and Little Robot to provide us with amazing live events, a thriving community to make friends and share the hobby with, and a really cool in-store experience. Huge shout out to the Rocket Punch Brobot team. Ivan, MB Grant, Con, Jack, RJ, Simon, Robert, Kelso, Kevin, David, Derek, Alan, and a big welcome back to Nilos. Come and join our fun Facebook group. Friendly, helpful tips and advice. This video was supported by our patrons. Thanks guys!